Have you ever been running an ad before that's doing absolutely phenomenal and then almost overnight it absolutely craps the bed? Or maybe you're the first one on a trend or a super good wave and then all of a sudden competitors come in and absolutely flood the market. Look, if you've ever had this happen to your ad account or your ads, you are not alone. The problem is that most people take the completely wrong approach to trying to fix it. And in this video, I'm going to share exactly how to take your failing ads and turn them into winners. If we haven't met before, my name is Daniel Schulte. I run a marketing agency that helps online service providers get more clients profitably. And in this specific video, I'm going to take you behind the scenes to a private client training that I did that covers this exact scenario. What to do if your ads were working and all of a sudden stopped, and also what to do if you have a ton of competitors flooding the market. So with that being said, let's dive right in. So today we're going to be covering the pivotal move that you need to make. Let me ask you guys a question. Has anybody seen more advertisers advertising tax plans?
Oh, definitely.
Okay,
Yeah.
has anybody seen the claims getting bigger and bigger? In other words, it used to be, hey, learn how to do tax planning or learn about, reducing your tax bill. And then it became, hey, we'll save you at least $10,000 guaranteed. And now it's, hey, save $50,000 guaranteed. And these claims are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Anybody see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're going through right now is something called a market sophistication and the product awareness level, okay, which we're going to be covering today. Now, highly recommend getting this book. Everything we're going to cover today comes from this book. It's called Breakthrough Advertising. It does come with a little bit of a price tag. It's like $200, but it is very, very well worth it. Okay. And so the market sophistication level is like pretty simple concept. When you're the first person to the market, right, it's super easy. But then as soon as somebody sees what you're doing and sees that it's working, you become the person with the target on your back that's paved the way, but now everybody's knocking off all the hard work that you did. Okay. So let me share my screen here. But what we're going to do is basically go over the positioning that you need to learn how to take and what to do now that we're starting to run into these bigger and bigger and bigger claims. Because at some point, the claims are going to become unbelievable, right? Like, think if someone was like, oh, yeah, I'll save you $1 million in your business. Who's going to look at that and be like, okay, buddy? Like, I'm sure some people will, right? But for the most part, the bigger these claims get, the harder it becomes to substantiate those claims. And then, like I said, we're also going to relate how it goes into sales, and really the difference between like a sales qualified lead and marketing qualified lead. And Nick, I'm sure you can probably have some input on this part as well with your sales background. And then we'll also give you guys a few different examples of what to look at, and just kind of some different ways to use this market positioning. So I want to start with a quick story, and I'm just going to read it straight from here. But in the 1900s, there was an advertiser named Claude Hopkins. He also has a book. I think it's called Scientific Advertising, or it's either Scientific Advertising or Tested Advertising Methods. It's one of those two. And basically, he was what people would call scheme men. And the entire goal of scheme men back in the day was to come up with offers that would basically, and campaigns that would help companies get more business. And back in the day, he was paid like $50,000, which today, from one company, which today equates to about like $1.2 million when it's all said and done, right? So he had a very, very important job because the modern title of a scheme man today is a rainmaker. Somebody's job to come into a company, generate leads, generate sales, and create business. So I'm going to read this quick story for you. In the early 1900s, Schlitz Beer was #8 beer brand on the planet. They'd hired tons of different agencies and companies to help them advertise their beer without success. Then they hired Claude Hopkins. Hopkins wasn't familiar with the beer making process, so they sent him to the manufacturing plant, which, as a copywriter specifically, back in the day when you didn't have like access to the internet and you couldn't do as fast research, basically you would go in to the business for like 2 weeks and just see their entire, see their entire operation. He was amazed and inspired by the process, so he created a series of ads that explained the beer making process. We're going to come back to this in just a second. The owners of Schlitz thought that it was odd. They said, but that's what every beer making company does. But Hopkins knew the other companies weren't sharing their process, so they ran the ads. And Schlitz Beer went from the number 8 beer company to the number 1 beer company. Okay. And so if we look at the ad is not a claim. It's not best tasting beer, or whatever, best hops. I'm not that much of a beer guy. I have like my favorite beer, and I'm pretty much set in my ways on that. Schlitz in filtered air. So what this is an example of is something called the unique mechanism. Okay. And so as we go through the stages of market sophistication, when you're first to market, okay, there's 5 stages, but when you're first to market, all you have to do is come out with the claim. So imagine if you were the first person to a market for weight loss. Nobody's been before you. It's like the 1900s, right? And all you have to do is say what in your ad? Lose weight. That's it, right? Because nobody else has been here before you. Now, if you're the second to market, all you're going to do is you're going to take that exact same claim and you're going to make it a bigger claim, right? Hey, instead of lose 10 pounds, now it's lose 30 pounds in 30 days. Okay. But at some point, again, at some point, the claims are going to become too outrageous. They're not going to become believable, which is where we come to the third stage. What this market needs now is a new device to make all these old claims become fresh and believable to them again. A new mechanism, a brand new possibility of success where disappointment was. So now the marketing doesn't lead with the claim, but it leads with the unique mechanism that makes the claim possible. Does that make sense? Okay. And we'll go through kind of how to create this today. All right. The second thing that when we're looking at this and we're trying to figure out how to position our stuff. So that's the first thing. So to give you guys an example, that deal that I just signed last week, 25K deal, they're a tax planner. One of the things that we're coming in with that's a little bit different is when I'm onboarding them, I'm saying, hey, take me through your process and tell me what's unique. Now, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but CoreV actually has an AI part of their software that I had no idea about that they're leveraging to the end consumer. So instead of coming in and saying, hey, $50,000 in tax savings, right? We're going to come in and now say, hey, we have an AI-powered tax planning software that will allow us to save $50,000. See how it's that slight tweak? Because instead of leading with the claim, now we're leading with the mechanism that's unique, and it's very trending because of the AI that allows us to offer that claim. Does that make sense? Okay, any questions about market sophistication before we move on to the next part here?
That part's not technically accurate with CoreV, but that's okay.
Well, it's basically like a chat bot that they offer to the end consumer.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, TaxPlan IQ has that where you upload a tax return, and it's supposed to. I haven't tried it yet, but it's supposed to give you like what strategies. But it's like anything else. It's
yeah, this one's more like Chat GPT, where you just go in and you type a question. So not necessarily where it's like creating the tax plan, but this is like a concierge AI tax bot.
It's there to be able to do implementation strategies. That's what it's there for.
Cool. So the next part that we're going to talk about is the 5 levels of awareness of a product. So these are the 2 things that make the biggest impact on the advertising. Is first, what sophistication is the market? But then the second is how aware of the product are these people? Okay. So I'm going to explain this concept and then we'll also go into kind of how to use this with sales and stuff as well. But basically, there's 5 levels of awareness. Again, it's in Breakthrough Advertising. Highly recommend you pick it up. It is a pretty old read and a thick read. It's not too thick, but it's pretty old in terms of like languaging and stuff. So just be prepared for that. But basically, there's also 5 levels of awareness. Okay. So 5 levels of market sophistication and then 5 levels of product awareness. Okay. And it goes from left to right in terms of this is going to be the easiest to close. And this is going to be the hardest. And the 5 levels of awareness is most aware, product aware, solution aware, problem aware, and unaware. Okay. And we can also relate this back to the buyer's pyramid. Do you guys remember me talking about the buyer's pyramid? So basically in any market, right? 3% of the market's buying now, 6% is open to it, 30% is not thinking about it. 30% don't think they're interested, and 30% know that they're not interested. So this applies more to like most aware and solution aware. Okay. But basically, when somebody enters into a market, okay, they are completely unaware of a problem that they have. Okay. So imagine like somebody has cancer and they don't know that they have cancer. Okay. Well, right now they are at the unaware stage. Okay. Now, when they go in to see a doctor for their checkup, they're like, oh, hey, I see this little spot on your back. Let's go and get you tested. And then they find out that they have cancer. Now they're problem aware. Okay. Second stage after that, now they're going to be looking at different solutions. After that, they're going to be looking at which provider and which product. And then most aware, typically this goes down to like retail, or like in this case, if they've been following you guys for a while and you do like, a hey, free bonus if you sign up right now type of thing, this is where the most aware comes into play. But basically, as they go from right to left, they go from becoming a marketing qualified lead to a sales qualified lead. So on this, basically everything to the right side of the middle, these are going to be people who are in not necessarily research mode just yet, but this is where most of the information is going to start becoming gathered, okay? Especially once they come into the solution aware. And that's what we would consider a marketing qualified lead. Where's it at here? I had it pulled up. So a marketing qualified lead is a lead that a marketing team has designated as most likely to become a customer compared to other leads. Okay, but basically, this is somebody who's going to be downloading information. They're going to be looking at blog posts on your website, okay? And they're going to be looking at like white papers and kind of raising their hand for that free information type thing. And indirect offers like, hey, here's a free training. Here's a webinar. Here's, you guys seen those downloadable ebooks that run all the time? Okay, so that's an example of something that's going after a marketing qualified lead. Now it changes once the prospect becomes solution aware, because now at this point, your marketing has to change the message, because instead of like, hey, free information, now it's going more towards like, hey, here's other people that we've helped like you, and here's how we did it, and here's the solution to your problem. Okay, it's through our product. And so we're going more after a sales qualified lead in these. And to be honest, most of the time, so the sales qualified lead is going to be closer to the whole in terms of how long it's going to take them to close. But the other thing is that most people don't actually have to move out of marketing to sales qualified leads 99% of the time, because the market is big enough as is, and most companies are small enough as is, to where they don't actually have to go into the marketing qualified leads. Okay. So I know I'm not doing the best at explaining this, but basically we want to create our messaging and our offer around sales qualified leads, because it's going to be the shortest sales cycle as well as the easiest to close, because they're informed, they understand their problem, their solution, and now they just need to know your product and your offering. Does that make sense? Okay. So how do we tie these two together now? How do we tie together the market sophistication and the 5 levels of awareness? Okay, and this is where our unique mechanism comes into play, just like I gave you guys the example with the AI here. Okay, and the reason I wanted to show you guys this is because right now, how many tax planners do you see talking about their unique process, framework, or methodology? Anybody? Anybody doing it right now?
Not many. It's all claims mostly.
It's all claims, right? It's all claims. So two things are happening right now in the tax planning market specifically. One, everyone's hearing the exact same claims. So the claims are becoming commoditized. So the way to reposition is you're going to create, and most of the time it's not creating, but you're going to tell them about your unique mechanism, your unique process, methodology, what makes you different and what makes you better than the competition. And I'm going to give you guys a few examples here in a second. But I want to quickly share a concept with you. And this concept is used by Agora Financial. Is anyone familiar with Agora Publishing or Agora Financial?
I think I've heard
Familiar
of
with more growth, but I don't know if it's the same thing.
Okay. I'm not familiar with them. They could be, but I'm not sure. So basically, Agora Publishing, there's an entire market called information products, okay, where it's basically just publishing newsletters, publishing information, courses on how to do something that somebody wants to learn how to do. And they specialize in publishing information in the financial and the health markets. Now, they are the biggest direct response publishing company in the world. They do $500 million per year in direct response online publishing. So does anybody ever spend time on Yahoo Finance? Or like trade
Little
stocks or anything? Okay. Well, if you guys ever see, let me see if I can find one of their ads. This guy, okay? Chalk in Analytics. This is an example of one of the ads that they run. And it sends somebody over to a video sales letter. Now, the reason I'm telling you guys this is because they're in one of the most commoditized markets in the world, which is stock trading. Okay. Or, like not necessarily just stocks, but trading, different stuff. And so with this, one of the things that they have to become really, really, really good at is a unique mechanism on things that people haven't heard before, and that's completely brand new. Okay. So if you guys want something to study, Agora Financial is definitely a big company that's amazing at this. And what's crazy, here's the craziest thing, right? Is that their video, for example, their video is like an hour and a half and it sells a $49 product. It's insane. Okay. But basically, the reason that I'm telling you guys this is because when we get into the unique mechanism, we have an opportunity to take something that's normal that people, might register as soon as they hear it and create something brand new around an ordinary topic. And it's a copywriting technique called transubstantiation. And another really good book on this is called Great Leads. I don't think I have it nearby me right now. But Michael Masterson is the guy who's kind of behind Agora Financial's major success. And he talks about great leads, which is basically like the first 60 seconds to 3 minutes of either a sales page, a video, or something of the like, okay? And so when he's going through, a lot of these stock topics are very ordinary things, right? Dividends, options trading. And so they have to create a way to make it brand new to the public, which is what they call transubstantiation. Now, what this means to you is that people are becoming a lot more aware of tax planning and tax planning strategies. Okay. So what transubstantiation allows you to do is take something ordinary, put it in a brand new wrapper and slap a bow on it to make it seem completely brand new. And the way that you guys can do this specifically is through your unique methodology or framework on how you're able to provide the results that you do. Okay. So Daniel G, I know you already have this in like your sales presentation and your slides. When somebody comes in and becomes a client, what's like the 3 big pillars that you do in order to get their results delivered to them? Like someone signs on the dotted line, what's the next 3 steps that happen?
But I send them a Calendly link for an onboarding call. I set the expectations for how long it's going to take. I tell them it usually takes 4 to 6 weeks. Then I used to send out the organizer, but what I do with them now is on the onboarding call, I'll go through the organizer with them, and that's pretty much it. Once I get the organizer, everything else, then just maybe some one-off questions here and there, but that's pretty much it.
Okay. And then what happens behind the scenes once you receive that information?
I set them up with the software, run my analysis, create the report, and just kind of the implementation checklist for each strategy. And then I give them the report. I created a custom report which has links to Internal Revenue Code regulations, plain English articles discussing each strategy, and then we also include kind of like templates, like if they're going to set up an accountable plan or a timesheet for employing their kids or a lease contract for the Augusta rule. Yeah, what I tell them is it's not tax planning is not something you can do like after the fact. It's something that you've got to like the taxpayer has a burden of proof. So by setting all this up beforehand, that's the tax plan. Setting it up to have that substantiation for the IRS when and if you do get selected for an audit, or if they have any questions.
Yeah. So what you did, I'm going to give you guys like a super easy way to create your unique framework. Okay. You take exactly what you did. Okay. And you take the first letter of each thing. So like onboarding, analysis, and then delivery. Okay. OAD. And you take those 3 syllables and you turn it into our OAD method to lower your taxes and reclaim your profits in as little as 90 days. And this is an example. This guy's in the real estate niche, like teaching people how to buy and flip homes. And so if you've been around, real estate's been around for a long fucking time, right? So everyone and their mom knows somebody in real estate, or, you know, has figured out, you know, that people get rich doing real estate. So like the market is very, 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 very saturated. Okay. And so what this allows you to do is, again, come in, take something that's old, because all he teaches is the Burr method. That's all he teaches. Are you guys familiar with the Burr method?
No.
Okay, Nick, can you, I don't know what the acronym stands for. Can you tell
It's
us?
buy, rent, rehab, like repeat, something like that.
And it's been around forever. Okay. But what he's done is he's taken that exact same method and he's put a new package and a new bow on the same thing that people already know. So when people look at this, right, if he was to just say, hey, how to use the Burr method to jumpstart your real estate portfolio, a lot of people would look at this and go, oh, I already know what that is. But because he's taken the ordinary, wrapped it in a new package and put a bow on it, people are now intrigued. Oh, what's the SBTW method, right? And here's the craziest part. You guys can have the exact same methodology, name it 2 completely different things, or make one little tweak in there, and all of a sudden, it's a completely new framework and methodology unique only to you, which also becomes your differentiator of everybody else in the market. Does that make sense? Okay, because everybody offers tax planning, but nobody offers the OAD method that produces results. That's our unique methodology. Does that make sense? Okay, so here's an example of one that's using it. Another example, and this one's probably, I want to say this is probably doing like $1 million a month. Like 500K to 1 million. I know the marketer for this, but I haven't asked him his exact numbers. But Thatch Nugent or Thatch Nugent, something like that. If you guys are on Instagram or TikTok at all, you've probably seen some of his videos. But the other one, this one is super unique. It's an alcohol-free lifestyle. And this specifically goes after executives, business owners, C-level people and high performers that allow them to drink, or excuse me, to quit drinking and enjoy their life with a unique method that has a proven 98% success rate. Okay, so again, they're advertising the result and the unique methodology. Okay, so and then I'll actually show you guys, this is what we're doing with Stephanie right now. So instead of going through a lead form, same concept that I just showed you guys, we're actually sending them straight to the video sales letter. And the video sales letter is a little bit different, okay? We're going after the most aware, the product aware, and the solution aware. And the video sales letter is actually cut down into like a 10-minute video that goes over, hey, here's our claim, and here's our unique methodology on why we're different. And then also positioning her as the authority, right? Because she was the 2021 Tax Planner of the Year. And we're sending people here first before they actually fill out the application versus just doing it on the lead form, right? Which is exactly the same process as these ones as well. So just to kind of recap, 5 levels of market sophistication. The market is currently entering the 3rd stage, okay? Kevin O'Leary came in, hey, I'll save you 10K on taxes guaranteed. Other people followed suit, and now they're creating bigger claims. Okay, we're now entering the 3rd stage. We're now entering the 3rd stage where we have to create a unique mechanism, different than everybody else, that allows us to deliver the results that we do. Just like how Schlitz Beer came in and said, Schlitz in filtered air. It's the unique mechanism. It can be the exact same thing that everybody else is doing, right? But nobody knows what you're doing because no one's actually told you yet, right? The next thing is the 5 levels of product awareness. So just to give you guys an example, if somebody's looking to get into real estate to lower their taxes, they're going to be in the problem aware and the solution aware market. If somebody's been a real estate investor for a long time, they've probably heard about a lot of things, right? Accelerated depreciation, cost seg, 1031 exchange. So they're going to be over more towards the left side, okay? And this is especially key to come in with that unique methodology because, again, they've probably heard of most of the common tax planning strategies, so you have to wrap that in a new bow, just like Thatch does with his SBTW method, right? It's not the Burr method, it's the SBTW method. I can't remember. I think it's Springboard to Wealth. Pretty sure that's what it's called. Yeah, Springboard to Wealth method. Okay. And so this is important because when we're getting people into the funnel, we want sales qualified leads, not marketing qualified leads, because the sales qualified lead is going to be much closer to the whole. They're going to be a shorter sales cycle. They're going to be easier to close. They're going to be already aware. And basically you have to convince them on why your unique method is better than everybody else in the market and why you are the guy to go to. Okay. There's a 3rd one in there as well. You don't really need to do it though, because you're doing a done for you product, but it's why it's going to work for them, which you can just, use case studies for. But basically why your unique method is better than everything else on the market, your vehicle, and then why you are the person that they need to go with. Goes back to those 3 10s that we talk about with Jordan Belfort, right? So that's pretty much it. That's what I got for you guys today. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. So to recap what we talked about, the 2 things that you need to be super, super aware of. The first one is the 5 stages of market awareness, okay? What stage is the market? Are you the first one coming in with this claim, or are you towards the end where it's kind of fizzled out? You know, the believability and the credibility is not there anymore, and you have to go after a completely unaware market. The second thing is the level of awareness of the product, right? Is somebody completely unaware? Are they solution aware, problem aware, or are they aware of the companies and the options that are out there to help them solve this problem? And if you haven't got it yet, I highly recommend Breakthrough Advertising. This is the strategies that it comes from by Eugene Schwartz. This is one of the most referenced advertising books in the direct marketing space. So again, hope you got a ton of value out of this video. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel for when we drop our next one, and go ahead and check out the next video.